Hello. Now let me make sure that my audio is set up right. Hey, look, it is. That's good news. So I guess you're wondering what's going on. Well, it's Figure It Out Thursdays. We haven't had a Figure It Out Thursdays in a while, and I think it's best to start off with some music. So let's do an old intro. Here we go. Yeah, so if you can't tell, I do some things because I wanna, and it was for most of my life I wasn't able to do many things that I wanted to, but these days I seem to have found some way to reverse engineer, hack, and do what I want to do pretty often. You might know me from dandoesdeals.com and the Chance Encounter series, where there's been over 400 episodes of that. You might know me from Figure It Out, or, well, Figure It Out's the Dream Job series, where I interviewed all sorts of really amazing people out there in this world. People from Broadway opera singers to the world's fastest reader to a guy who was the pilot of Marine Force One, which is the president's helicopter. You name it, all kinds of really wild stuff. But these days, what people generally know me for, or at least was getting the highest amount of viewership, is the Chess with Investors show. Of course, I'm really excited as well because now I've got something brand new, which there's only been one episode released so far, and we just recorded our second episode of it yesterday, which is Poker with Investors. You can see right here, I got this big, obnoxious, and distinct last name. It makes it really easy to find me on LinkedIn. That's the best way to reach me, and that is how you get on to the show Poker with Investors or Chess with Investors. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to release a live stream version of the first episode of Chess with Investors, where I'm actually not going to be playing. It's actually my son playing against someone else's son. This is against Jen Stewart, and I think it's a really awesome little episode. And so I get to chill a little bit. You get to enjoy this, and I get to save my breath a little bit. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything like that. Here we go. Hey, how's it going? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is Chess with Investors. I'm joined today with Double Trouble. I got Jen Stewart and her son Bruce Stewart. First, Jen, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It is Friday, Dan, and as entrepreneurs, do we even get a weekend, as they said in Downton Abbey? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. What about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Still plenty to do. And we're joined with your son, Bruce, and we got a surprise for everybody in the audience. But first, Bruce, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. And the surprise for you, yes, you in the audience, is that I'm not going to be playing chess on this one. We're going to have, this is the Battle of the Children. Now, Bruce, I don't mean to have any slights against you or anything like that, but it's going to be my son against Bruce. That's what you're going to be seeing on the side of your screen here. So, Jen, can you introduce yourself a little bit for the audience?
Yeah, hello. My name is Jennifer Stewart, and I specialize in both finding and funding deals. I started out as doing acquisitions as an acquisitions manager, and now I have a company with 180 virtual assistants in both the United States and the Philippines and a few other countries that specialize in acquisitions. And I also fund deals as well. I specialize in commercial lending, especially multifamily apartments and some warehouses as well. So that's what we love to do. We love to find and fund your deals. So whether it is single family or commercial, off market or on, we try to make sure that you have everything you need to achieve your acquisitions goals.
Excellent. And I see the game is already humming along here. I see that we're going basically symmetrical with an Italian setup here. Now, Jen, as far as your knowledge of Bruce's chess experience, you ended up having him on because you're not particularly a chess player yourself. What's the background right there?
Yeah, so I work really, really hard all the time. And so when in my leisure time, I like to hike, as Bruce knows. I love to get outside. But while I work, the children have learned to amuse themselves. And I hope other moms can relate to this. I mean, I had my 5-month-old at the teat while I had my headset on making those acquisitions calls whenever I was starting. He's now almost 10. So my children were literally raised in and around and inundated in business from home. But, there's only so much they can do to participate. So while I'm working, they are so good at amusing themselves. And I think in that way, it's going to lend them to an entrepreneurial spirit, because we don't just keep them racked with these activities and those activities and go, go, go all the time. I've really taught them to try to entertain themselves. I know they have the intellect to do it. And so Bruce took chess upon himself. I did not introduce it to him. I did buy him the fanciest board I could possibly buy him for Christmas one year. It's engraved and it has this lovely engraving and marble and all this stuff, just because I wanted to signify the time he's invested into this activity. And also my alma mater doesn't have a football team. That's how nerdy I am. It has a chess team. The University of Texas at Dallas has a chess team that we take pride in. And so if he is to follow in my footsteps to go to UTD, he will be ready to compete on the chess team here in 4 years, as he is 14 years old.
I love it. I love it. And so now I get a little bit. I get my wires crossed a little bit between the Texas link and there's a Florida link for you as well, right? Have I got cross wires in my head?
I think you're thinking.
And next time I start talking, I will remember to unmute myself. So I hope that was interesting, me doing my Marcel Marceau impression. But let's keep going.
Of California, because that's where I like
Okay.
to go hiking the most. So you're correct on the coastal part. Florida's a little too crowded for my taste in most parts, where Northern California is about as remote as it gets. I mean, most of the counties, 2/3 of those counties don't even have cell phone service. And so we're talking very, very remote in a way that most people don't even conjure in their imagination whenever they think of the United States.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I remember since our last conversation, some background just so that everybody in the audience knows. You probably know that I'm from the internet. The way that you can find more of these episodes is on chesswithinvestors.com. But Jen was one of the first guests on the new series Poker with Investors. That was pretty wild, right? What were your thoughts of that show format?
It was fun. It was really fun. And the fact that they kind of make it easy to push the buttons, I was able to kind of figure out how to play a little bit as I went, dusting off that 20-year-old memory after I played once.
Right.
And so that was fun. I mean, I was winning at first. It was beginner's luck. And then just like life, skill always proves out over luck. Luck is not scalable, but skill sets are. And so invest in your skill sets.
I completely agree, and man, what a roller coaster going on over here in this chess match that I have on the other side. Like, I saw there was a royal fork there, but fortunately for Bruce, there was a bishop staring at the knight that was doing the fork. So he was able to get out of it. He was forking the king and the queen. But one of the subjects that came up during the poker with investors match was multitasking, and this is way easier. The fact that we can actually focus on conversation instead of figuring out all the moves and all that kind of fun stuff.
People in processes we've outsourced to our children, which they don't know is our long-term goal anyways, right?
That's an absolutely awesome point on her point. I'm hearing some clicking and popping. If you do end up hearing, oh, I know where it's coming from. It's coming from this ridiculous tab over here where I've got a little clip of DJ Marshmallow hanging out with me. I'm sitting here wondering what planet it's from. So if you heard like a, that's what that little sound there was. But I want to take a second and share a couple things. One is I want to show you chesswithinvestors.com, so you can take a look at that. And in order to do that, I need to stop screen, I need to present, and then I need to hit share screen. Then I need to hit this one right here. This is what chesswithinvestors.com looks like. I'll move it over to my other screen so it's more convenient for me, and then I see myself back over here. That's what it looks like right here. The reason why you want to check out, there's a few reasons why you might want to check out chesswithinvestors.com. The playlist is up here at the top. The episode that you're seeing right now on Figure It Out Thursdays is going to be added in this pane right here. This episode with John Lane was really, really entertaining, so that's why I like to put this one on here. He was a great sport. But some people, they aren't really into chess, and I know that's shocking, right? It's hard to believe. But honestly, chess is an obnoxiously difficult game. If there's one thing I've learned over the last year of playing against humans, and the year before that I was studying with puzzles, I've learned that honestly, chess is like science. It takes no prisoners. If you don't basically play by the rules, you don't study hard, then you're going to get left at the side of the road, and it's all bad news. But the one thing that I have on offer here, and all this stuff is free, there's no subscription or paywall or any ridiculousness like that. I have a playlist here with my son, who's actually the one playing in this episode, and it's called Improve at Chess Reviews, and they're short videos. Honestly, I've been trying to get into the video market where, you can go ahead and do your emails in the background. You can do whatever it is you're doing at work, and then you can just have this playing as something going on at the same time. Now, of course, with chess, you're probably going to be interested in the plays and all that kind of stuff. If you're just starting out, you're not going to know really that much of what's going on or whatever. But in Improve at Chess Reviews, it does go through full games, move by move, where we're saying, hey, this is the reason we're doing this. This is the reason we're doing that. And that's this side panel right here. If you're on a mobile device, it'll look slightly different, so you have to scroll down a little bit more. There's also an opportunity. My son Caspian, also called Cheat Code, on the show there on Improve at Chess Reviews, he's been going to regional chess tournaments. He's also been going to provincial chess tournaments. This year, the nationals are happening just down the street from us, which is really, really exciting. So hopefully he qualifies and gets in at that. But of course, all that stuff costs money. A lot of these different you have to get the hotel stay and also pay all these different dues. But there's a Patreon link right here, this big blue link for sponsoring him if you want to throw him a couple bucks a month or something like that until you don't want to anymore. So you can just click on that and add stuff there. But Improve at Chess, this playlist down at the bottom, it's an older series back when we sucked a lot more at chess, and so that's what that's another option right there. So now that I'm going back to full screen, I'm going to stop that share, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add that one back. It's the window. Did I do the entire screen? Yeah, I need to do the entire screen. It's this one right here. So it was the entire screen, so I could have just left it on there, and I'm back to here. So anyway, let's go back to this episode with Jen Stewart and her son Bruce Stewart playing against Cheat Code. Here we go. Right, exactly. Well, it's kind of funny. I have a nickname on chesswithinvestors.com for there's a little mini series that we do called Improve at Chess Reviews, where we go through these short games and just basically say each of the different moves. And so my little pet name for my son is Cheat Code, because I feel it's like, okay, if I can't actually succeed on my on my own, then I can rely on him, who's still got the same DNA. It's kind of funny here.
He's 50% you.
Right, exactly. So, but let's talk a little bit about how you got into real estate. That's a very valuable service that you have for finding the deals. Like, who has the time, as they say. You obviously have to make it a priority to find those deals. But how exactly did you get into real estate? Tell everybody a little bit about that, please.
I got lucky with a friend. I was at home, and this story, if, in case anyone is starting out, rent was going up. I was on the other side of the equation. Rent was going up $200, which was more than what we could afford. And it was either come up with another $200 or move in with my mother-in-law, who I love. But, I don't want to, I just had a brand new baby. And so I thought, what job could I do while still having a baby? I mean, one who can't even sit up hardly on their own. So I had a friend of mine named Heather, and I had made a public post about how I was going to go back and work in a bar just to make some money, right? Just something I could do part-time. And she said, no, Jen, don't you dare go work in a bar. As a mother, I've known you for 20 years, and no one is better at determining people's motivations intuitively than you. And she said, I need someone like you to talk to these sellers over the phone and determine motivation in these sellers. And I said, okay, how much does it pay? She said, $5 an hour.
That's rough.
My grandma said, Jenny, you just graduated college, which, by the way, I graduated college at 30. She said, why would you want to take a job for $5 an hour? I said, Mimi, give me 10 years. Well, it's been 9 years, and this month, without being braggadocious, between all of my businesses, the commercial lending, and the data and the skip tracing, I'm slated to make about $150,000 before taxes, okay? Before taxes, but after expenses. So from $5 an hour to 150 grand between all of the acquisitions and the lending, that is significant. So you have to see the potential in the skill set that you're acquiring and not how much you're being paid. So if you're just getting started out, you may want to offer a lot of value for a low price. But I did get the immediate value, and then we got to stay in our crappy apartment and not move in with my mother-in-law, for that extra $200 a month or whatever.
Right.
So, I didn't know I was going to make it, Dan. I had no way of knowing. I busted rear end. There's a reason why I don't play chess. There's a reason why my son, at least from what I'm gleaning here, seems to be decent at it. Because I spend a lot of time working. I mean, I've had to work so hard. I don't even know who my son's best friend is. You know what I mean? So, there's real sacrifice to going that far in 9 years. And I'm not ashamed to admit or discuss that.
Yeah, it's and being able to work from home, I think it's the best investment that any parent can have. Just
Yes.
having it where your children know it's mom's there, or in my case,
Mom's
dad
there.
is there.
I may not know, what your hobbies are or who your best friend is, but I am here. I am sitting, in my work area. And I don't have an office where I sequester myself. I'm centralized in the house, as Bruce knows. So you have to walk, no matter what you do, you have to walk past me. So
There's no escape from mom.
Yeah, I see the comings and goings of the house. And we do exercise together, but you just don't talk a lot while you're exercising. So
All right, that's pretty good for now as far as the Chess with Investors episode. I'll be releasing that probably shortly. It's all good to go and be released. It's just tough to figure out when to show it, but I'll actually bring this up here, which is the first episode of Poker with Investors. Can you tell that I'm really dying for more subscribers here? Because after literally years of posting on YouTube, getting tens of thousands, I don't even know how many views I've had on my channel. I probably hit 100K views at some point. Actually, I know that I can find that out, but it's neither here nor there. But this Poker with Investors show, I think it really is doing way more. Oh, hey, yeah, I did hit 100K views. Woohoo! Not on this episode, of course, but yes, I'm now over 100,000 views on my channel. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'll stop being cringe. But anyway, let's watch a little bit of Pokers with Investors. No, not pokers, just poker. Poker face. Poker. There we go. Hey, welcome. We are going to play some poker because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, even though my name is Dan Friedenberg. I'm joined today with the founder of Equity Capital, Joe Cook. How you doing today, Joe?
Great. Thanks, Dan.
Excellent, excellent. And we do regular webinars, especially on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So make sure you follow us on LinkedIn to find out more on that. Jennifer Stewart, Jen, we go back and forth a little bit on Facebook. You want to introduce yourself a little bit while we get this game started here?
Yeah, hi, I'm Jennifer Stewart, and I find and fund deals. That's what I specialize in.
All right, awesome. And Ryan Yates, he's a fractional CFO. Ryan, you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. My name is Ryan Yates. I am currently the VP of Finance and Compliance of Logic Capital. I have my own consulting firm, Cardinal Financial Consulting, and among the beard, I do a lot of other things. But
excellent, excellent. All right, so I'm going to hit start the
You're
game.
a bear hunter. On the side, you're a bear hunter.
Exactly, bear hunter. All right, cool. So we have the blinds with 8 minutes. I just hit start, so it looks like Ryan, you have the chance to. Oh, okay. He folded already. So Jen, hopefully you can. Okay, so Joe didn't like his hand either. He folded as well. I'm not going to do a play-by-play on everything here, but yeah, to stay in, you gotta bet, or you can check or fold. There you go. Okay, I'm going to check. There is an activate extra time button here, but okay. So it looks like I'm first here, right? So what am I going to do? Oh, okay, no. So it was Jen. Okay, next I'll bet. Lots of fun. So I guess Ryan, since you folded a little bit, you want to talk a little bit about your poker experience, or actually, before we get to that, I need to channel my inner Joan Rivers and say, can we talk? I actually want to share the fact that the second episode of Chess with Investors is very soon to come out. It looks like it's ready to go. I want to add some more AI clips like the ones you just saw. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add this here so you can see what that looks like. Welcome to Poker with Investors. I'm Dan Friedenberg. I'm joined with. Like, how was that for an abrupt beginning? But there are a few things that I think are really cool, and you can let me know in the comments or the chat or whatever what you think. But there are a couple things I've added on this one. One is you'll notice that actually I'll go ahead and scoot ahead just so you can see. So now it does not show our cards until we reveal it. So that way, future contestants, should I call them contestants, guests on the show, they won't really be revealing what they're up to quite so much. But there's a few things I've added. One is we've got colored borders on the different players, and then an underline on their actual hand, so you know who's controlling which hand here. And I guess I could take a moment and play a little bit here for you, do a little bit of a release. But this is the other episode that I'm expecting probably tomorrow to drop on the YouTube channel. So if you haven't followed me on YouTube, if you haven't hit subscribe and all that kind of stuff, I won't hold it personal as long as you fix that. But let's start in the middle. Let's see how that goes. And real estate, I think, is one that needs to be brought back into the equation. Paul, do you want to kick off that conversation?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's been sort of like the everything asset bubble, right? Everything's gone up and valuations are historic highs for gold, recently Bitcoin, the S&P 500. Real estate's already kind of seen its decline, and some of the headlines I think we'll see this year will be along the lines of distress and some assets that may end up in foreclosure or taken back or sold at discounts to even what the loan balance is. But I think that's really, those headlines will be sort of yesterday's news. A lot of that stuff is a result of decisions and acquisitions that were done a couple years ago. So I'm actually quite optimistic. I think rates seem to be stabilizing a little bit. The 10-year moving in the opposite direction of the federal funds rate did not help. Sorry there. But I do believe that there's a little bit more certainty, and if that 10-year starts to go down, like historically it does in tandem with the federal funds rate, I think we'll start to see sellers come back into the market, and we'll see more transaction volume. And I think today, if you get stuff at a good basis and you can protect the downside, it might be that there's longer hold periods and lower returns than we've been used to over the last couple of years. But that's real estate. Real estate's kind of boring, right? It's supposed to be sort of your steady Eddie asset class that provides cash flow. And what we saw back in 2020 and maybe a little bit sooner than earlier than that into 2022 was an anomaly. So, I'm pretty bullish on the sector, and specifics of what is attractive is market by market. But overall, I think we're a little bit out of the woods, so to speak. So.
Interesting take there. Joe, what are your thoughts on that subject? Rebalancing your portfolio based on the success of other asset classes, getting proceeds from real estate in general.
Well, I agree with Paul at actually almost every level that he talked about. I just think the handwriting's on the wall for everything's at its highs. The handwriting's on the wall for some sell-off, at least in Arizona. Except for just straight cap rate entities.
I'm going to pause it right there. This is an unreleased episode 2 of Poker with Investors. I do end up mentioning in a moment that this does not constitute financial advice or any of that sort of thing, and so that's the important legalese to mention. But let's continue.
Prices didn't adjust much, and things that are in trouble relative to. Okay, now I got to quit trying to do 3 things at once.
Right, this is so distracting. It's brutal.
So distracting. Trying to do 3 things at once. That people are already planned to buy some of the distressed assets. We met a lot of funds that are just sitting wait to buy the distressed assets, and now we need a 9. Like we really need a 9.
Oh.
That's really rugged, Nick. I apologize. I apologize at every level, Nick.
You're lucky I didn't hang tight. You and I have been splitting that one.
I kind of wanted a 9 too before I saw what you had.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. So some are already buying assets, but we've been promoting rebalance your portfolio. If you've take a look at it. If you've got 70 or 80% in stocks and little or no real estate exposure, then you have to think about real estate exposure, especially if you want to be really conservative and just park it there. That obviously it's our pitch, but our fund is really short term and pretty high yield, and it's a good parking space to see what the next 2 years will really bring forth.
Right, and that's especially true if this does not constitute financial advice and we're just a bunch of guys talking over poker. Now,
and since I mentioned the offering, it's not an offering unless you look at the PPM in your credit. Blah 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 blah.
Right, exactly. So Nick, as far as your background, now, of course, you help. We already mentioned the structural side of all that kind of stuff. As far as real estate goes, being an investor, GP, anything like that, it completely slipped my mind. I know how we ended up getting in touch via LinkedIn, and you've been my guest on Chess with Investors. Where do you fit in on that sort of side, or do you tend to avoid it, or do you have any thoughts on what we were talking about balancing a portfolio?
Yeah, well, actually, so on the real estate side, I'll get myself into trouble here. So I started off by house hacking. So we have a couple of residential properties under our belt, nothing commercial. But what I will say is, like everyone's alluded to, the cost and value of everything has gone up. So just speaking from my point of view, in terms of like maintaining the physical assets, what we specialize in is long-term capital planning for parking garages primarily, but other types of structures too. But concrete, steel, waterproofing, also not getting any less expensive. So just having a plan to make your dollars go far as part of your capital expenditure program is my advice.
And good thing there aren't any upward forces on things like steel or aluminum that are coming down.
Especially not in the past week or two, right? Good thing.
Right, exactly. It's funny. I've been telling people, you mentioned before me being up here in Canada, I'm a pretty politically minded kind of guy, but I have been so dead set of sticking my head in the sand, la, 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 I'm not listening, that sort of thing. And that's just not in the cards these days. It seems like every conversation I end up having around here up in Canada, it always comes back to, what's going on with tariffs and all that kind of stuff. And it'll be really interesting to see how it pans out, I think. But Shane, you tend to have your ear to the ground a lot more than other people just as a realtor. Like I think that if anybody's going to know if there's an uptick in volume, it's going to be somebody in your shoes. What are your thoughts on what's been discussed so far?
Yeah, so our market in particular, is got some special notes to it that have me still really bullish on real estate and different types of assets here in the Valley. We've got some light industrial going, we've got some multifamily going. Although we've built more industrial here than has been built here in a long, long time. It has mostly filled up quickly and gets absorbed quickly. And we're starting to see some of the capital markets look towards those type of assets to buy them out for the cap rates. And although the multifamily's been a little soft for the last couple of years, it ran really hard before that, and it's still quite solid in our market, really due to just a basic lack of inventory. Even with the high build in the multifamily, we don't have a ton of vacancies available, and even with the huge industrial builds, we don't have a ton of vacancy available. Some very specific markets have some more availability than others, and then on the residential side, that lack of inventory is the same thing, which just the new home builders are all building spec here because they can, and they almost never all build spec because the resellers are still holding on to those 3% mortgages, and they don't want to move up to, you know, a 5 or 6, 7% mortgage. The new home builders can, you know, mitigate that some, so there's some activity in the marketplace. But locally here, I think a lack of inventory will continue to drive, especially with all the employment that's coming here from the CHIPS Act and different things like that.
Excellent, excellent. And so proving once again that I've stacked the deck somehow digitally. I got lucky on that one once more. That was actually one of the things that I liked about the idea of playing with the computer's assistant. All right, and I'm going to pause it right there. So what a buzz, right? This show is so much fun. It's not just fun. Oh, hang on, I hid my face. It's not just fun to actually watch. It's fun to be involved. Like, I just can't even get over how great this new Poker with Investors show really is. And if you want to be on either Chess with Investors, like I was showing earlier, there's a replay. You can rewind it if you're watching it later. I was playing that with Jen Stewart, along with in episode 1 of Poker with Investors, and then the chesswithinvestors.com is where you can see all that other stuff. But I'd absolutely love to have more people bug me and join the show. And on LinkedIn, it's the easiest spot to find me because I got this distinct last name. It makes me super duper easy to find. So please do make a point of connecting. Now, of course, if you are wondering where on earth did I get this crazy hat that says realestateisascam.com, there is a store. There is a store that offers this sort of swag, all that kind of stuff. And if you are in real estate, I assure you there is pretty much nothing out there that starts a conversation quite like it. And if I put my head in the corner right here, yeah, you can see that there is a site where you can get shirts, ladies and men's. You can get hoodies, mugs, all that kind of stuff. Real estate is a scam. If you have this sort of swag, I guarantee you, if you're at a conference on real estate or something like that, it's very attention-getting. It's really, really something to be walking around like this. And they're like, okay, well, how's real estate a scam? And you get to explain it. And the good news is, if you actually do go to realestateisascam.com, which I guess I might as well do, you'll find out that it's not embarrassing for you at all. It's actually got its heart in the right place. Yeah, there we go. I got the site up now. So if I hit this one right there, oh yeah, there we go. Realestateisascam.com. Actually, I guess I should have the actual clothing line and swag on here as well. But basically, the skinny about the realestateisascam.com site, I bought it because of the. I'm getting more people pinging me right now, and it's driving me crazy. So I'm losing my concentration, even though I'm Mr. Split attention. But anyway, the reason I bought realestateisascam.com is for search engine optimization reasons. And so, because I knew somebody would end up Googling real estate is a scam. And so I wanted to go, well, hey, I'm more than happy to take your traffic. And then as far as what this all is about, I ended up taking some of the things that I found were common inside real estate training. If you're in a conference or something like that, they're like, rah, 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 everything's wonderful. We're all going to be rich in a short amount of time. And you get to say, well, hang on, that just doesn't add up. Like, when did they start giving away free money? It's not a real thing. And so what I did is I took some of the topics where I'm like, okay, well, either, they're being a little bit disingenuous, or at least there are ways that attentive, smart people can wind up losing their shirts, and not through what I would describe as some sort of fault of their own. Like me personally, I was always concerned about buying real estate because I figured, well, wait a second, whenever you sell, you're going to lose money on it. And whenever, basically timing is never good. You basically always have to sell at the worst time, and what about the fact that the black rocks, the black stones, black whatever you want to call it, even though it's racist,
where you focus a little
that's
bit.
a joke in here. Hang on. pausing. I'm unpausing because I hit my ear here. So, the big guys, it makes sense that they would, since they've got all the resources in the world, they've got all the pension plans, they've got everybody's retirement plans, they have more resources to get deals than you ever will. So what's the point? Well, I answer that and I say, this is what full-timers do. I might as well let the cat out of the bag on that one, even though it's a short video, and say it's an interpersonal relationship sort of industry. That's what that's all about. So you can check out realestateisascam.com, and that way you know why all this stuff is worthwhile. But anyway, I'd like to thank everybody, yes, you, for watching all of this stuff. And I like to do a Figure It Out Thursday every Thursday, but I've been taking a break because of all the things that I've got going on. I got real businesses to run, believe it or not, and you can only do so much playing chess with investors or poker with investors before you actually have to be productive and build something. So that's basically the skinny about that. But that's what I got for you today. Please do make a point of hitting the channel. I guess I should also a little bit scattered today, but I should also mention, since I said it before, FIGGERRIDOUT.com. That is the site where, oh cool, I can now do this as full screen. So if I hit this right here, FIGGERRIDOUT.com is where I've got the dream job interviews and most of my funny stuff. So if you think that you could use a laugh, then I recommend going through this sizzle reel, and you'll find out exactly what that's about. That's about attention to detail, and you'll also see that there's the series about hey, there's Hide the Pain Harold right there, who is
it was in my
the
garden.
meme. There you go.
Right. That's very nice.
Yeah, so that's FIGGERIDOUT.com.
What's
It's
up?
spelled
This is Dan
funny.
Braden.
But yeah, that's what I got for you today. Please do make some sort of comment in the chat and all that kind of stuff, because then the algorithm knows that you actually care about what I got on the go. But that's the fun stuff for today. Practice your chess and stuff, and connect on LinkedIn. Thanks a lot. Bye.